Hey everyone out there in YouTube land, this is Annette Dion, the host and inventor of the Psychic News Network. It is Monday. It feels like it's been a long time. I don't know why, probably because there's so much news. So let's get to it. I hope you had a great weekend. It is still cloudy and damp and a little rainy here in Massachusetts, in New England. Very strange. But anyway, I think we're going to see some sunshine this week. So that will help people's moods. I know that it just, the air feels so heavy and it kind of makes everything feel heavy. The news is, I did write some notes. A couple people asked some questions. Thank you for your questions and your very kind comments. The questions that I have are about COVID in the UK. What is Boris doing? Maybe I should answer that question. You know, we have seen a lot of leadership that I don't call leadership of, gosh, it's so obvious, isn't it? Politicians in positions of power trying to appease big money. And it's disheartening, to say the least. It's really disheartening. So the question was, is that going to lead to a disaster? And here's what I get, and I'll pull some cards about it. Somebody from the UK wanted to know what's going to happen with it. I guess they called it Freedom Day, so I saw in the news they were having Freedom Day in England, and people were wearing masks. So that pretty much sums it up, because Freedom Day was supposed to be, we're not going to have any restrictions at all. We're going to behave as if COVID is not a reality. And that's what I saw was people were still wearing masks. I actually am getting the sense that the people will take matters into their own hands in general and go ahead and adhere to their own guidelines. I know that's going to be complicated for businesses, so let's take a look at that. So, COVID restrictions being made non-existent in the UK. What do the cards and the guides have to say about that? I'm going to shuffle a little bit more. Okay, COVID in the UK. The COVID restrictions being dropped. And Boris is in lockdown. Boris himself is in quarantine. I know. You can't make this stuff up. It's crazy. And here's what we have about England and COVID. The people are going to start to use their own inner wisdom. This is the Empress. It's just what I'm saying. And I see somebody else stepping up and taking authority when this feels like a health person. This feels like a male authority who's, I don't know what you call it in the UK, heads the health department. I have to look that up, or maybe you can tell me. I feel like there's going to be a doctor in the UK in a high position that steps up and says, look, we can't do this. We have to still be careful about because of this Delta variant. And the Two of Wands is, it's going to be a bit of a balancing act, but I really see the people in the UK using their intellect to keep things safe. So I wouldn't worry too much about it, because it really is getting to the point that everyone is starting to realize that they just have to protect themselves and their loved ones, and that means adhering to the guidelines and being vaccinated. Okay, so there's that. And the other question I was asked was, so Kevin McCarthy has chosen his 6 people for the investigation into the insurrection on January 6th, which was really a war and a coup, an attempted coup. As we know, it wasn't a bunch of tourists, because tourists don't do what they did. You know, someday in history, people are going to look back at our history and say, you know how there's like the industrial age and the information age? This is going to be the gaslighting age. Honestly. The January 6th insurrection, we saw it with our own eyes. I was shaking in my boots for 4 hours. It's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. The what ifs add extra trauma after the event. What if that happened? What if that happened? And they actually, some of those Republicans say, oh, it was nothing. The age of gaslighting. And speaking of that, so Kevin McCarthy shows Jim Jordan as one. Oh my gosh, that guy makes my skin crawl. Can't even look at him. So the question was, what did McCarthy and he who shall not be named talk about in their meeting prior to I think it was prior to CPAC also, prior to choosing the Republicans that are going to serve on the investigation committee to investigate January 6th. So I feel like that's exactly what they talked about in that meeting. And I know that it was reported that they didn't discuss January 6th, but they discussed who to be on that panel of the GOP Republicans. So get your popcorn out, because guess who else is on that committee is Liz Cheney. And sparks are going to fly, and they're not going to be sparks of love. They're going to be sparks of... It's going to be interesting. That's what they talked about. But I'm going to pick 3 cards that have to do with... Just because that was my psychic impression, that was the bulk of their conversation was about who to have on that committee. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. They planned that. I said that the other day, and then McCarthy got nervous. I know, we have to take risks as psychics, we really do. But, you know, life is an adventure. So, and as far as that committee goes, because that's what I'm asking about, the committee, I see Nancy Pelosi. You know what? She's 80 now. She might even be almost 80. I think she might be 81. Anyway, my point of saying her age is that she's at an age where you don't take any... She doesn't take any, you know what, anyway, but this is her. I feel like she's going to have something to say about Jim Jordan being on that committee. I think, actually, now that I'm reflecting on it, don't they have to give the okay? That's something to look for in the news. I think they have to be approved. So I was busy today and I didn't check the news to learn more details, but I believe that Kevin McCarthy's picks need to be approved by Nancy Pelosi, maybe someone else. I will find out and get back to you, and you can find out and let me know too. Okay, so the Ace of Wands, they will succeed in getting the information that they need on this committee. So it doesn't look like the Republicans that are going to be on that committee are going to get very far in terms of hiding what really happened, which is interesting to me. I get the Wheel of Fortune. There's so much evidence. The Wheel of Fortune is almost saying there is so much to go on in terms of convictions, and you heard it here first. I believe that we're going to find, I'm not going to be specific because it's, you know, I'm on YouTube, but I'm just going to say that I get guidance that there are very specific people that were caught on video, and I'm talking about senators, who were helping the insurrectionists the day before and the day of, and we already have seen some, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's what I'm picking up on that investigation of the insurrection. Okay. Let's talk about voter rights. I wanted to discuss, Stacey Abrams is heading up a committee that's called Hot Summer Call, maybe. I'll let you know more about that next time. Anyway, if you look up Saving Voting Rights and Stacey Abrams, it'll be there. There's a phone number to call your senators and congresspeople and urge them to save our voting rights. which is really saving our democracy. It really is. That's what democracy is. The right to have our voices be heard through our vote is what democracy is. We're heading towards an autocracy. Let's pay attention. I know I want to be light, but this is a psychic news network, so I got to cover the news and give you a really strong impression that I have, that we all have to rise up. I feel John Lewis's spirit. I think I feel Martin Luther King's spirit too. And they are going to help us. You know, it's kind of that, like that thing, God helps those who help themselves. They'll help us. We have to participate in getting our voter rights back, basically. So I'm going to pick 3 cards about that. And the Texas Democrats I want to talk about too. We're looking at it. This country's looking at it. Uh-oh, this is bad. This is, she has like a cloak over her head. This is a Cosmic Tarot deck. I love this deck. Cosmic Tarot. She has a cloak over her head. We're looking at it. We're really stopping and looking at what's going on here. You know, most of us. This is Stacey Abrams, I feel. This is the energy of Stacey Abrams with Pelosi, who are going to work together to make sure that we keep our voting rights, but I know they have to get rid of the filibuster. And I said the other day that this is Chuck Schumer. I feel like that's going to happen, at least for this. At least for this. I feel like that they will get rid of the filibuster for this. And I'm not sure how that works, but we shall see. Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk about is billionaires in space. That is making my blood boil, honestly. So I saw Jeff Bezos being asked the question as he's in his spaceman garb with, you know, his cohorts. And they were, the woman, the interviewer, was asking her from some other remote location as they were sitting on their spaceship. She said, what do you have to say about the criticism that all this money that you have spent to go into space could have been better used to help all the problems we have on this planet? And he gave her a word salad. He didn't even answer the question. He started just talking about, it'll be great when future generations can be in space. And I got a hit about him the other day. That I saw a past life. I saw Jeff Bezos in a past life, really, seriously. I see past lives. And he was a Roman emperor. I don't know who he was, but I definitely saw the laurel wreath and the turban. Not the turban, the toga. You know, the drapey thing that they wear. And I felt like in this lifetime, it's like his troops, his soldiers are the Amazon workers, and it's really weird. But these soul blueprints that we come in with, we have tendencies to move in the same ways. So yeah, I do see him as a Roman emperor. And having really just feeling just detached from the people and just directing the troops. So what we're going to ask about is not about his past lifetime, but I thought that was pretty funny because I could totally see him looking kind of like he does today, being a Roman emperor. I don't know who it was, but Caesar maybe? Oh, I have to look at my history. I find out more about history from seeing past lives, and then I have to go look things up. Okay, so what we're doing is we're looking at where he's at. Okay, and I want to ask the pendulum also. There's the pendulum. I want to ask how that's going to go tomorrow, because he's taking off in his spaceship tomorrow. It's going to be like a 10-minute flight. I don't want to think about it too much because it makes me so angry how many taxes Amazon did not pay. I think Amazon is the company that is best equipped to help the Amazon rainforest, but I digress. As far as the spaceship ride, they've done everything they can do in terms of preparation. Now they're just in a place of, we'll just wait and see what happens. Last week I did see a snafu. I see a delay and a snafu. I guess I left my pendulum in the other room. I might have to come back tomorrow. The High Priestess is, okay, so this is about the Bezos taking off in the rocket ship tomorrow. The High Priestess's secret. So they've done everything they can do in terms of all the checks of the equipment and everything. And this is like, okay, they're just surrendering. I feel like there's a little tiny smidgen of reckless abandon. There's a little tiny smidgen of, it'll be fine. And I know you don't do that in science. You don't do that in rocket science. You don't do that kind of thing. But I do feel like they're leaving something to chance. Not a huge thing, but something really tiny to chance. And they're just assuming it's going to work. And that just could go for the whole, expedition. 10 minutes. How many children they could have fed. Anyway, I digress. The King of Pentacles. Well, I feel like there's going to be a little snafu. It might result in a delay, which is there's a pretty good chance of that with anything like this, right? How many times that they were going to shoot a rocket into space from Cape Canaveral and they had to wait days and days. I'm not sure what the weather forecast is for tomorrow, but I do see a delay, but it feels like an equipment malfunction delay. And then the King of Pentacles, he's going to come out feeling like, oh, even smugger, even more smug. They should call him Bezos. They should call him Smug Bezos. People aren't liking it. And you know what? This is like the culmination of all the corporations that paid zero taxes in the United States of America. This is what they've done with their money. They didn't even have the sense of looking out for their brothers and sisters or the planet that they could help. No. They don't get it. Just shoot a rocket into space. Billions and billions of dollars. You can tell I'm upset about it. Okay, let's see. What are the other questions? There's so much going on. He who shall not be named. How could we leave him out? It's been a little quiet on that front. Weiselberg is going to flip. I already did say that. And the guides are showing me they're not saying, nobody's saying very much right now. I think Weiselberg is, but tuning into Ivanka, she feels like she's frozen. Let's see what's going on with that family right now. And Don Jr. at that CPAC convention, I don't know if any of you saw this, but he was mid-sentence into some ramble, and all of a sudden he kind of stopped, like, I don't know, like he had a brain glitch or something. He was trying to tell a joke, and it was, man, it's the age of word salads. It was a total word salad. And then I don't know, he looked really uncomfortable and really disheveled, like maybe he was lightheaded or something, and something was really wrong. And I felt like that was the stress that they're under. So let's see what's going on with that family. So he who shall not be named is going to still act like the man with all the money. It's an act. He's still grifting, still getting money for his cause. So Letitia James is getting ready to lower the hammer. I know it's taken a long time, but that's how justice works. And there's a strong case against that family. Let's pick 2 more cards about that. Strong case. We know that. It's the women that are going to put the hammer down, and I feel like they're going to fall from grace because I have the 7 of Cups. They have made it out in their mind. That family of the former guy have made it out in their minds that it's going to be fine because this is a 7 of Cups, which is kind of like delusional. And yeah, America will win. America will win. So let's not worry about that too much. One more thing I want to look at. I mean, this is the kind of thing that we just have to let it play out. and pray for our justice system, that it works. I see that he who shall not be named, number 45, I see that he, when I tune into him, well, you know, it's interesting. When I tune into him, number 45, I feel like he's extremely, extremely angry and agitated. That concerns me. Did you hear that he and Bill O'Reilly were they were having an event and they can't sell tickets? So he's, you know, the thing is, when he loses his grip on people admiring him, this is the scary thing about him. There's a lot of scary things about him. One being that if he doesn't have this adoration and attention, just like dictators, then he gets very angry and he lashes out. And the scary thing about January 6th was he lashed out via his thousands of supporters, violent supporters. So right now, unfortunately, and I'll pull 3 cards about it, I'm picking up that he is planning his revenge, and let's see what it's going to be. We have a full moon coming up in Aquarius on Friday. I'll definitely be back before then to do another vid. Okay, so yeah, he's planning revenge, and I think he's planning a revenge through this January 6th committee. That doesn't make very much sense to me, but when you kind of, you know, tie into that Jim Jordan's on the committee, he was in on it too. The Queen of Cups keeps coming up trying to tell me something. Okay, so there's a lot of deliberation going on right now about how to move forward. And he who shall not be named, he has a plan for revenge. But the Queen of Cups, see, now this is Pelosi, is going to have the truth be revealed. The 10 of Pentacles, this is the kids. This is, I know it looks like that person is like handsome and in his, kind of in his glory. But he's holding something close to his chest like a bird. I feel like they're trying to hide. They're trying to hide. Dawn and Eric are trying to hide. I don't know how they can do this. There's so much that's been revealed. They're still trying to hide even more stuff. So there's even more stuff than what they have about the Trump organization. Gosh, what more could it? Maybe it's just the Weisselberg stuff. They're trying to figure out how they can get him to hide what he knows. One more card about what's going to happen with that family. Let's see. It's the women are going to take him down. The women are going to take that family down. 45's family down. That's what's going to happen. We shall see. I know there are other questions, so leave them in the comments. If you'd like to book a personal reading, it's done just like this on FaceTime or, you know, I mean, just remotely, obviously. It's AnnetteDion7@gmail.com. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening. I'll probably be back in a day or so. Namaste.